It started off as any day does, with the rising of the sun. But this day was not any day. This day was today. The sunshine seeped through the thin curtain just enough to gently caress, but not blind our young protagonist. His name? Timothy Reed. He felt the warmth of the sun on his face and slowly drifted from dream world to the realm of reality. In his semi-conscious state, he became aware that something was not quite right.
What?
He exclaimed. Anger filled his voice, though confusion filled his sleepy head.
What is this? What's happening?
He asked, looking up to his ceiling as if that would provide some sort of explanation. But did it? No, it did not.
Wait, who is this? What is this?
He asked.
What do you mean he asked?
He asked.
Stop saying he asked!
He proclaimed. Tim looked perplexed and rubbed his weary eyes. Perhaps his marbles were not all there.
Okay, you can stop it now. I'm sure you find this funny, but I don't understand it.
He didn't understand, but that didn't matter. He had other things on his mind.
Well, actually,
He was hungry.
Well, yeah, I could eat.
Tim got up out of bed and made his way to the kitchen to grab a small smackerel, a bite to eat, a tasty snack to fill the rumble that inhabited his empty stomach. But on his way he stopped. A frown formed on his formidable eyebrows.
Formidable what?
He asked, somewhat confused with a hint of mild annoyance. He was not aware that the word formidable means...
I know what formidable means.
He did not.
Yes, I do.
Tim continued on his journey to the kitchen. Tim continued on his journey to the kitchen.
Yeah, nope, not gonna happen.
He exclaimed, and though his mouth spoke those words, his belly disagreed, and the way to every man's heart is his belly. And if you don't listen to your heart, then you truly are a fool. Was Tim a fool? Yes, he was.
Hey, what's your problem?
But he was a fool that came to his senses.
Nope, not happening.
And decided to treat himself and his slim, feeble body to his long-awaited morning meal.
Why don't you just call it breakfast?
Tim said, but really he was thinking, ooh, look at me, I'm talking back. How cute and smart I am. Tim looked concerned, or offended. It was difficult to tell with a brow like his. Offended. He looked offended.
You know what? No, I don't like your little game, and I'm done.
He was, in fact, not done. He had plenty more to say, and the mystery of his situation was one too intriguing to pass by. And so, although his pettiness was a strong contender, his intrigue was stronger still.
No. If you're just going to sit here and narrate everything I do, then I'm just not going to do anything,
said the silly, slimline lemonade, hoping to goad a reaction out of whom I cannot be sure. Whether he was talking to himself or simply hallucinating is hard to say. He sat there, in silent defiance, doing nothing. He sighed a sigh of relief, but that relief was short-lived, for now the stress, the anger,
Shut up!
He yelled as powerfully as his little lungs could manage, but alas, to no avail, for still the presence remained. All of a sudden, Tim had a thought. A rare occurrence for the simple, skinny man, but rarity often lends to greatness. He plugged them in and put them on, then turned on his music to drown out the noise that enveloped his life. What Tim was not aware of, however, was that you cannot drown out sound that lives in your head. He threw down his headphones and got to his feet. Now, in a fiery, desperate rage, he raced to his computer and booted it up. He opened his browser and searched, "How to get rid of Narrator." Little did he know what a terrible idea he had stumbled upon.
Shut up!
He shouted once again. Perhaps that was his catchphrase. He surveyed the results, desperately seeking the remedy for this otherworldly ailment, until finally he found it.
100% success rate. Nice. Lay 3 of your most prized possessions next to a stick and serenade them with a classic Celtic tune. You should find that your narrator will disappear, and it's totally legit with a wizard stamp.
Tim rushed to his garden to find a suitable stick to perform the ritual that would unknowingly cause him more grief than relief.
No, you're not going to talk me out of this.
He said to the stick in his hand.
What?
He asked it, but it did not answer, for it was a stick, and sticks, famously, do not talk. He placed the stick on the floor and placed his most prized possessions beside it. A jar of honey, a picture of his portly best friends, Douglas and Jamie, and another picture of an orangutan. He then grabbed his chanter and attempted to play the appropriate tune to activate the ritual. Unbeknownst to Tim, his musical inability would be his downfall. The tune he had just played was not one of destruction, but one of creation. Tim looked up to the sky in anticipation, a look of worry or fear on his strongly jaw-lined face. One voice did not disappear, but instead was joined by another.
The narrators greeted each other with a formal, "How do you do?"
How do you do?
And carried on with their work.
No!
Tim yelled.
Well, it was more of a scream, really.
Well, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Oh, so it was.
Anyway, will Tim manage to rid himself of the 2 narrators?
Or will he be like this for the remainder of his life?
Find out.
Next week.